Hi, Panda here. It's that time of year again for Gamescom 2022, Europe's largest gaming convention and probably the largest on all of the planet, to be honest. And the opening night was hosted by Jeff Keighley, and there was a bunch of new announcements, some catch-up trailers and some brand new announcements that no one knew about. So here are my 5 picks for the games we're looking forward to the most from Gamescom 2022. Let's check it out. Everywhere took me by surprise. It seems interesting, I like the idea and concept, and I'll talk a bit about that now. So basically, Everywhere is everything, from what I could tell. It's got loads of different worlds, styles, there was clips of like third-person shooting, there were social events like parties and raves, then there was like exploring, and then there's only like racing, and they spoke about you can basically do lots of different things on whatever you want to do, and a different settings of world. One minute it was like a volcano world, next it was like some ancient temple. It was very inconsistent in style and theme, and I think that's what they're going for. I got worried when they spoke about it a little bit. It sounded like some type of like metaverse type thing. I'm hoping they avoid that. They did speak about like, this is a place we want gamers to hang out in and like live and stuff. And I was like, that makes me cringe a little bit. I like the idea of like all these cool open worlds and you do whatever, but this idea that you're going to spend all your time in here and shut off from everything else is a little bit concerning. You get a bit of a Zuckerberg feel, so I'm hoping they'll avoid that and they'll just focus on basically, it just means we've got different settings and something to suit everyone. It looks very polished from what I've seen so far. Obviously it's not out yet, but how much will this be? Will you be able to create stuff? And will it be better than like the Fortnite thing? See, Fortnite has a similar vibe, like, oh, you can do a racing game or a shooting game, but everyone knows the creator mode in Fortnite is a little bit rusty. Like, some people pull some good stuff off, but when you're playing it, you kind of know it's made by some amateurs who aren't as good. I think that might be just the tools that people are given. Everything's always a little bit rough, and I'm hoping that avoids this. They did look like there was a story and plot as well, so maybe they've put their own story in, so for people who are looking for a story-based game, at least have some content to play and isn't just like, hey, open and do everything. Because if you've got no objectives, sometimes some of these open games, if there's no objectives, you kind of like burn off after a while, and you're like, because even like Minecraft has got an objective where you get to the Elder World and fight the Ender Dragon, which I've never done, but that's the sort of thing. So I think as long as it's got some type of grip or narrative, it'll be interesting. It has potential, but it's definitely a big project, and we all know what happened to No Man's Sky. Had a rough launch, but it got there eventually, so we'll have to see how that goes. New Tales from the Borderlands looks amazing. I really enjoyed Tales from the Borderlands. It was a really good Telltale style game, plot and making decisions and seeing what's going to happen. I love the art style of Borderlands and the Borderlands world. Even though I've fallen off the mainline games, I like the idea of the story. I just get a little bit tiresome of the repetitive like loot-based shooting of the main series. But this really condenses story and plot and characters and kind of cuts out the need for all the shooting parts in the middle. So if you just like the humour and the story, and there's some really good humour in here, it is very silly and over the top. That's kind of what you expect in here. They had Randy Pitchford come on stage, which is always awkward because he's awkward and very controversial, but we'll forget about Randy for a second. Overall, this game looks really good, and having more Tales of Borderlands, yeah, it's a shame it isn't the characters from the first one, but this new cast of characters looks really diverse, and I'm really glad to see a mixture of characters, plot, story. I think it could all come together to make a really interesting game, and I'm hoping these Telltale style games will come back, as long as they don't burn out. Last time they did too many Walking Dead, and people got a bit tired of them, and there were too many of these style. So I think as long as they make some tweaks here and there, this could be really good and funny. Sonic Frontiers, this new trailer that showed at Gamescom, is very, very, very good. It's made me a lot more excited for Sonic Frontiers. It looks amazing. Not only do we have the open world, there are now what I call conventional levels, like in the Green Hills zone or in the city. So they're your standard usual fare where it's like you're running straight forward, doing some light platforming. Sometimes it goes in like a 2D side-on perspective that you might have seen in the last few Sonic games. A bit like Sonic Generations is probably the best example to use. So those levels look good, but they look really, really polished. And the open world looks good. We finally got to see some of the villains. And also we got to see that Amy is in it, and we've got to try and save Amy, so we're getting a little bit of story. It's interesting. I'm curious to see how the open world transitions to these more linear levels, but I'm glad they're in there, and the sense of speed here is unbelievable. I think they've done a really good job here. It looks really polished, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it, and it comes out later this year, so hopefully this could be the Sonic game to really help Sega out. They've done quite well lately on the 2D games like Sonic Mania Plus, but 3D games have been a bit hit and miss, but this one could really be like a good speed boost for Sega back into Sonic being a bit more mainstream, and hopefully this will start a trend of some newer Sonic games being really polished, as long as Sega doesn't decide to change it up too much and make some bad decisions like they have done it in the past. Looking at you, Sonic Boom, this could be a great Sonic adventure. Under the Waves is a aquatic dream game, so I'm guessing it's going to be very heavy on the story. So it's set under the ocean, well, in the ocean, under the waves. This seems to be like this, what looks like an old city or town. There seems to be a road, so it's interesting seeing what you usually see conventionally above the water on land, being under the sea. Maybe there's some ghosts. There was like this ghost silhouette. I couldn't tell if it was meant to be a ghost silhouette or hologram. There's definitely some mystery and exploring. There's not much to go on, but I just like the idea and I like the setting, and it looks really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this one. Goat Simulator 3 looks like bizarre, over-the-top fun. What can I say? You can probably get a lot of idea from the trailer, or maybe not any idea what's actually going on. It seems like you can customize your goat in many ways. There's different animals to play as, there's multiplayer, there's a lot more locations than there was previously. I feel like they've really built on from previous Goat Simulator games. This one, it just looks amazing. I feel like you could get lost in this world and just do it as much silly fun as you want. Curious to see if there'll be objectives and how that'll play out, or if there's any story. But from what I can tell, there seems like enough going on that you could mess about and just go, I'm going to go over there. What if I stuck my tongue to a car or a Ferris wheel? There's plenty of wacky combinations that you can do, and especially when you add friends and multiplayer into it. Goodness knows what's going to happen. This is going to make for some entertaining videos and entertaining playing. So this one will be interesting to watch and keep an eye on, and I'm definitely looking forward to becoming a goat and causing chaos. So there you go, there's a selection of games we're looking forward to the most personally, but there's so many games announced. What are your favourite announcements from Gamescom 2022? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all new videos. We've got videos covering retro, different shows like Ranking of Racers, and even more coming in the future. And thank you to our patrons and Twitch subscribers, because that's how we keep doing this channel, is with all your lovely support, and you can find out more information in the links below. So thank you for joining us. I've been Panda, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
I'm gonna blast you so freaking bad! Yeah! Shut up, Richard!
If you happen to see any corpses along the way, don't worry about them. They're just, yeah, don't worry about them.